How to conduct a business operations audit in under 10 minutes. Most founders think that scaling is about doing more hiring, more spending, more work, but in reality, it's about doing less, but more effectively. And it starts with seeing exactly what is broken. In this video, I'm going to show you how I conduct a business audit in under 10 minutes by using a 5-step checklist, which actually helped over 100 of my clients to uncover blind spots, save money, and actually scale. But before we get started, why don't you follow me? If you want to learn more about business operations, business management, and get first-hand knowledge from an expert with over 15 years of experience, click the subscribe button. Back in the days when I just started doing consulting, I used to spend weeks on doing my initial research, interviews, gathering data, going through a lot of spreadsheets and reports my clients had. But after doing this for years, I've started noticing some patterns. Most of the problems are not dig deep into client operations and business. We're hiding in the plain sight. Once you know where to look, you can assess any company's operational health in minutes. So I've built a 5-step checklist which takes me about 10 minutes to go over the interview with the client. And 9 out of 10 times, it gives me a very good understanding of where the chaos is in the company. This isn't just a magic formula. This is proven, quick checklist which I'm sharing with you now and you can use on any company. Here's how the 10-minute audit works. I will break it down into 5 main areas, which will give you a better structure and better understanding how actually to go easy on this checklist. So these areas are vision, operations, people, visibility, and finances. Each one has a couple of key questions and I will explain each one of them, but you don't need to do very deep analysis. Just go and answer these questions. So let's go to the first section, vision and directions. If a team doesn't know where it goes or like how its decisions are being made, the team is going to end up in a chaos. So to be able to answer if our team is actually aligned and if we're on a good track, we should start answering these questions. Is there a clear 12-month goal and does the team know about it? This will help you see if the team is aligned on the long term. Are strategic goals visible, updated, and tracked weekly? This makes sure that team has transparency and CEO is not changing the goals every day or every week. Who makes key decision and is that process defined? Usually, especially in startups, you have people who are wearing several hats. So what ends up happening that the problems occur and no one is responsible for it, and you can't blame them that much because no one actually knows who is responsible for it. So you need to make sure responsibility is there for any of your strategic goals and long-term goals, and that you have a defined process of deciding who is responsible for this now. So the next main group is, of course, operations and delivery. If you're relying on the memory of your team members or like Slack messages, Slack channels, you will get lost into communication and unfulfilled tasks. So what you should do is ask, are recurring tasks and workflows mapped in a central tool? Do you have ClickUp for your task management, or does your project manager use ClickUp, your sales team uses emails, your CEO keeps everything in his head? That's not going to run. You need to have one centralized place for all the tasks in your company to be tracked there. The second one, are deadlines hit consistently or are things being slipping? So if you're not tracking your deadlines and you just have a list of things you need to do, they will end up not being used. To actually start using your project management system, you actually need to put deadlines and have someone responsible for tracking the deadlines and pushing people if we are going overdue. Even as the CEO, you need to make a company culture that tasks should be done on time. So the last one is where an SOP or documented process for key services. This is also very important because some companies lack unification. They lack like alignment on what you talk and what you tell to your clients. Because if you just start and if you are just like service-based company, your sales team will be saying one thing, customer support another one. The reality of the production team is like completely different. So you need SOP and documentation of what is that we actually do on the service side for our clients. Communication problems are usually the biggest ones that people don't notice because you don't clear tool for communication. Something goes through emails, Slack, uh, person in person talks, phone calls, and things get lost in there. So, what you need to do is have standardized channels for your communication. And that's just a part of high level communication, but communication issues can run way deeper into your organization and actually eat you from inside.
For example, does every team member know exactly what they're responsible for? We're going back to the vision here, but this is a responsibility on everyone's level, not just the leadership, not just the management. Is your customer support specialist know what we do for work, or we just like juggle several things, people interacting to each other's responsibilities? This is very important to make sure you have a healthy, growing organization without interfighting and issues. The second one is way more common when you think. It's, are there too many meetings or too few decisions? This will You will see this issue more into more established companies where everybody's just running meetings. Sometimes you're just running a meeting to decide on another meeting. I am against the meeting. If you can make it into an email or Loom video, you should do it email on the Loom video. So you should again have processes defining what meetings do you need and what meetings are being productive, and keep the time limit on those meetings. The same thing with the decisions. Like if you're doing a meeting without a final decision, that's a waste of everybody's time. The third part is continuation of the first one. Are roles clear, or are tasks floating between people? Again, if you don't have clear responsibilities divided among all your team members, you will have problems because tasks won't have responsibilities, issues will arise, no one will take responsibility for it, and you can't actually press anyone or have anyone accountable for it. Always make sure your roles are clear when you're hiring, especially, and that tasks have their assignments all the time. The fourth group is being overlooked a lot of times because, especially in startups, when you just run your company and you think you have visibility and tracking into things, but usually you're not tracking the correct things. So, one of the main points you need to have is the founders or leadership being able to have a high level glance dashboard on the whole company health. It can be a click up dashboard on all the tasks within the company, the same thing with the sales, but you should have 5 or 6 very basic widgets set up in the dashboard. So when your leadership looks at it, they exactly know what's happening in the company. The same way, the question of the KPIs, are they being tracked? Do we even have KPIs set? Do they make sense or not? This is more on the part of the operations, but you need to have proper KPIs or tracking. Otherwise, everybody like will be wandering around the company and doing a lot of unnecessary stuff, losing the focus on the main areas. And again, do you have dashboards and reporting for each of your levels? This is not just a high level one for the managers. Do your departments have your dashboards? Do a teams have a clear understanding what they're doing, what the results? Especially middle management should have this, because if you don't have dashboards, if you don't track your results for sales, for example, or results of your employees, everything becomes very subjective, and gut feeling is not a very good thing in your operations. And last but not least, finances. You don't need fancy financial tools or tracking. You can have an Excel sheet, but with the correct information in it. Most startups or new companies will skip this because they have some initial capital or they have a running cash flow, but we don't track where their money is going from. And if you don't have properly set up processes, you are most probably wasting a lot of money on things your company doesn't need. What I suggest every company to have is, first of all, the cash flow track, how much money you have right now in your balance, the margins, which is very overlooked, by the way. We keep on tracking the profits or incomes, but we don't keep track of the margins, sometimes losing a lot of money because our margins are very low. And of course, the expenses. You need a proper accounting debit and credit sheet with how much is your income and what are your expenses are. If you have everything set up correctly from the first point, you can confidently say what money you will have 3 months later. If you can't answer this question, you're in a big trouble. You should think about fixing or at least checking your bank accounts and to be able to plan 3 months forward. Even the most high paid startups, whatever, 3 months, you should be able to answer it anytime. Is it a budget or just vibes? Do you feel like, oh yeah, we have enough money? Or you actually know exactly how much money you have? Without a financial tracking, the company is lost.
Does it make sense for you? Here's what I suggest you to try it today. Download this checklist or make a similar one that makes more sense for you. Set a 10 minutes timer and do a quick interview with yourself or your leadership team. The key is to be brutally honest. Don't sugarcoat anything. This is for your own sake. Be very honest on the questions, on the answers, and write everything down. And for the next 30 days or 2 weeks, just take one of the identified problems and start working on it. You can't fix everything the same day, but you need to pick one in the list, which one is top priority or costs you the most, or just a random one, and actually start working on it. Just identifying the biggest friction points and problems in the company is not solving it, but it's half the battle on the way to fix your operations, cut the chaos, cut the unnecessary expenses, and be prepared to scale. I'm leaving the checklist under the comments of this video, but if you want to learn more or get a more detailed list, leave a comment under the video. I will be happy to reach out and help you with it. This framework is not just for founders, CEOs, or project managers. This works for everyone. Even if you're a solo freelancer, you can use this framework to see what your everyday schedule looks like and where you have your inefficiencies. When you do this research, when you do this audit, you identify the most important problems in your process. And once it's done, it's so easy to identify what you need to do next. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe if you want to see more frameworks or checklists like this or learn in general about business operations.